Hello, happy Saturday. Saturday special. Yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it? So nice to be with you on a Saturday. It's super quiet here, so it's lovely. It's just me and you. And it's just going to be us on Instagram. Can't do Facebook today because my team aren't working. So I've got some stuff to share with you that I was going to do for myself this morning. And I thought, you know what, I'm here in my kitchen. I can easily just click onto Instagram and be with everybody. So hello, so nice to see you. Hi Cheryl, hi Jenny, hi Claire, hi Leslie, hi Devon Creator Elizabeth. Brilliant, so nice to have you all with me. So you may have seen on my Instagram story this morning and on my grid, actually I did a little thing about going green, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about greens, and I'm wearing something green, obviously. Oh, it's all so carefully planned, I tell you. This is from one of my favourites. This is the Ivy, no it's not, it is from, not Ivy, I was thinking of my earrings. It's from the Lavender Hill clothing company. Great British brand, I've spoken about them before. Female founder-led brand, they've been going for ages. I've bought their stuff for a long time. I've got all sorts of things in the back of my cupboard. This I especially like. This, I looked at the label before I put it on this morning. Not only designed but made in Britain. Unusual for clothing, made in Britain, and it's 50% cotton, super soft cotton, and 50% modal, which is that really lovely, natural, eco, very sustainable fabric. And it is so soft. I think it's probably what they call a base layer, because you could wear it. I was out, I went to an open air restaurant last night. You might see pictures in my stories. I took my lovely parents there for our first outing. Oh, it was so exciting. We had this sort of open air tent in this beautiful garden in the West Country. It was really, really lovely. Big thanks to all at Pit House Kitchen Garden for looking after us so well. We really enjoyed our evening with you. But it was chilly, obviously. We were eating outside. So I thought, well, I'll just kind of layer up. So that's when I reached into the cupboard and found this, which I've had for ages, but it's worn really well. What I like about the Lavender Hill clothing company is the detail. I don't know if you can see here, but at the back, I've got this little, really soft little velvet strip. So that's so nice. I mean, nobody can see that detail, but I know it's there and it feels really cosy. So anyway, it is actually quite a grey, drizzly day, unfortunately, down here in the West Country. I wonder what it's like with you guys. Let me know where you are watching me and what the weather is like. Yeah, the Botanical Drink, you know, so that drink that I had last night, I forget what it was called. Somebody had to remind me, sorry. It was, yeah, they make it themselves. And I think they were just about to launch it as a non-alcoholic. It's kind of like a shrub. It's like a kind of a brewed botanical thing. They were telling me it was made with fennel and ginger and lemon and all sorts of lovely things that they grow in the garden. So hopefully, guys, you'll be back on track as things begin to open up a bit more. Miserable in Guildford. Oh, it's okay in Hertfordshire. That's good. Sunny in the Hamptons. Well, get you. Sprigster. Thank you very much, Tracy. That's what it's called, Sprigster, full of sprigs. And actually, you could really taste that little bit of fennel. I love fennel. Those of you who were with me yesterday, here in my kitchen, I was cooking up those delicious sardines. And they were made with the fennel, sort of mashed fennel puree. That was a recipe from my yearbook 2, which has been flying out the door, so don't delay if you haven't got your copy. And yeah, that was a really, really nice recipe. And my lovely fennel fronds, I've actually turned into a flower arrangement, so I shall post a picture of those a bit later. But I digress. What I wanted to talk about today really was kind of getting back on track and ways to feel better, which I think we could possibly all do with right now. So as many of you know, I was in Italy last week, had a lovely week off with some of my family. I've got family connections in Italy, so it was really nice to go back to, somewhere that I know really well. And of course, came back, and having been away for a week, it was just crazy. And that's the thing, when you're producing a magazine, it's relentless. You know, the deadlines are always there, and there's always things to do and to write. And we started podcasting again, so I was recording a great episode. If you saw on my stories, I had Ruby Wax in my studio. Oh my goodness, she is so funny. And so on it in terms of mental health. I hadn't realised all the amazing things that she's been doing over the last 20 years in terms of neuroscience and mental health awareness. So really interesting to talk to her. So that will be out in September. And also a great podcast with Alice Hart Davis, who's written this brilliant book called Tweakments. And I'm really delighted that she's going to be contributing to my magazine. The first article that she's putting together is coming out in September. So I've known Alice for many, many years. She's a proper hardcore journalist. She and I go way back. She used to write on the Evening Standard, and you've seen her articles everywhere. She's very well respected. So we're really kind of broadening and increasing our level of journalism and quality and editorial, so that's really exciting. So anyway, suffice to say, there has been a lot on, plus other stuff not so great going on behind the scenes, which I know many of you know about. So life is full, life is stressful, but we just get on with it, don't we? We just deal with it because that's what we have to do. And I think I probably took my eye off the ball a little bit in terms of my own personal nutrition and self-care. And I just kind of started to take my health a bit for granted. And, normally, okay, here's where I am. Normally, I try and eat really well. I'm not a huge believer in taking supplements and swallowing lots of pills. And I used to believe that back in the day when kind of the whole nutrition industry first started, when I first started writing about this kind of stuff about, more than 30 years ago. And then I think it gradually dawned on me that actually what we really need to do is we need to eat really well, because otherwise we're just paying for our food twice. We're eating rubbish, processed foods, and then we're going out and buying pills because we haven't been able to get the proper nutrition from our food. So that's no good. So I'm a great believer in cooking from scratch, eating seasonally. You know that my yearbooks, for example, here's my yearbook too, it's always full of recipes that are of the moment. So that's why it's divided into spring, summer, autumn, winter. So you can eat the seasons and eat locally and sustainably and all that. So, however, there is a proviso that comes with that, because I think there comes a time when there are certain things that we just can't get enough of from our diet. We know, for example, vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin. Obviously, if it was a beautiful sunny day, which it isn't, I could be outside, I could be getting all my sunshine vitamin. There's a downside, of course, with vitamin D from the sun in that it's very damaging to the skin. So there's a trade-off that we have to balance. And I've written a lot about that. If you want to know more about my own personal views on vitamin D in the sun, there's pieces on LizEarleWellbeing.com. I'm sorry I'm not on Facebook today. I'm sorry I don't have Amy to link to it. But if after this, if you want to head over to LizEarleWellbeing.com, if it's a rainy grey day with you, perfect day for staying in and doing a bit of reading up and scrolling and all of that. So yes, I do think, and even the government agrees with me that we should all be supplementing, no matter what our age or stage of life. We should all be taking vitamin D. So I take one, actually I've got a spray version. I like the sprays. I've got a link to this, by the way. I've done a whole piece on boosting your immune system. So it's on Linktree after this, or it's on LizEarleWellbeing.com. This is made by Better You. Just squirt it onto your tongue. I really like it. It goes straight in. This one is vitamin D plus vitamin K, K2, which is also a really important vitamin, part of our immune system. And I saw a question on my Instagram earlier today, actually, when I was just having a little look, saying, do you have to have vitamin K with vitamin D? And the answer is no, you don't have to. You can not have it if you don't want, but it's more effective with. So that's why I combine the two together. The key thing with vitamin D to remember is it's a fat-soluble vitamin. Vitamins really fall into two classes. You've either got the water-soluble or the fat-soluble. If you have a fat-soluble vitamin like vitamin D, you need to eat it with a bit of fat because that helps the body to absorb it. So don't get up and just have vitamins on an empty stomach or just have them with something that hasn't got any fat in it, because you're not going to get the best out of it. So as you probably know by now, I'm a great believer in eating good quality fats. Never skimp on my fats. Keeps the skin really plump and helps our internal organs and all of that. Very good for our brain as well. So I'm jumping ahead of myself because I'm really talking about the immune system. And what I was going to share with you today is a few things that have helped me just in the last couple of days get back on track. You know that I was with you yesterday on Instagram and I wasn't feeling too great. I was a bit snuffly, I was a bit chesty, and I was thinking, oh dear, I've got to be careful because otherwise I'm going to quickly slide. Maybe it was because I've been travelling, maybe I was back in London, picked up a cold or a cough bug, something like that. And of course, I think with all of us having been locked in for so many months, we need to be out and about. Our bodies need to be exposed to all the normal bacteria and viruses and things that are in the atmosphere. That's how our immune system works. That's why small children should go and play in the dirt outside because it strengthens our immune system. So if we keep ourselves inside for too long, then when we do go back out, you know, the tiniest little sniffle is going to affect us much more. So maybe I picked up something, I don't know. Anyway, luckily, I'm feeling fit as a flea now, which is good. And I'll tell you what I've been doing. So the first thing I did was I heeded Michael Gary's advice yesterday when he said to me, drink more water. I was feeling headachy. I was tempted to reach for the painkillers, but I thought, no, I'm going to go for the water first. I'm going to rehydrate. So this is something that I showed you guys, I think, on one of my very first Instagram lives. I bought it on, I think, an Instagram promotion. You know how they send you all that stuff. And it's really simple. It's just a glass bottle and it's marked off and it's a reminder. And I remember, gosh, it's crazy, isn't it? I probably showed this, I don't know, what was it, 18, 19 weeks ago? Where does the time go, honestly? Anyway, it's just a mental reminder. Now, you don't have to go and buy one of these because in true Blue Peter style, here's one I made earlier. So this is my milk bottle, glass milk bottle, and I just marked it off with a marker pen. So you fill it twice a day. That's the idea, so you get your 2 litres. So this is the morning, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then in the afternoon, 2 p.m, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then by the end of the day, you have drunk your 2 litres of water, and you know it. So I actually bought these at Christmas time, and I was very pleased that Father Christmas put one in each of my children's stockings. Wasn't that kind of him? So yeah, so it's a mental reminder, and they've all got their names on the lids to remind them. Anyway, so that was the first thing I did. The second thing I did was I did some exercise, but I was very careful with it. So normally, at the moment, I set myself a target. I try and do a 5K every weekend. Doesn't matter, it's Saturday or Sunday, whenever it kind of fits in. And today, I really felt like running. I felt that like I should go and run and kind of shake off stuff. It's always a good way of just getting rid of the week and the rubbish that kind of tends to stick on you. And you can kind of, I've got a playlist actually. I don't know if any of you are on Spotify, but if you want to hear the tracks that I run to, I made a 5K playlist. And for me, I'm not very fast, so it takes me about 40 minutes. So I play the whole playlist, and you can find it on Liz Earle Wellbeing on Spotify. You know, it's a free download. But if you want to listen to the stuff that I'm listening to, and a few of those tracks I have to say at the beginning are quite relevant to my life at the moment. So it kind of just keeps me going. And anyway, so today I thought, well, I'll go for my run, but I'm just going to do half. So I did 2.5K, and that was enough. And I remember Michael Gary saying to me at the very, very beginning of all this pandemic and lockdown, there was a big discussion, do you remember, about whether we should have the London Marathon? And they cancelled it pretty much at the last minute. And I remember him saying to me, you know, that's such a good call. And I said, yeah, you know, it is. You know, I don't know how many people take part, you know, tens of thousands of people all jammed together, breathing over each other. And he said, yeah, I said, you know, it's not only that, it's the fact that when you are training at such a high level like that, your immune system suffers. So not only would you have all those people, you know, huffing and puffing and breathing over each other in close proximity at the beginning of a potential pandemic, as it was back then, but you would also have all the training that you'd been doing and exertion of the extra effort on the day, which would cause your immune system to take a dip. So probably quite a good thing that didn't happen. So I decided to do a bit of exercise, but not too much. And that's going to be my modus operandi for the next week. I'm going to do a bit of this. I'm going to do a bit of my down dog yoga. That's the yoga app that I'm really liking at the moment. More water, less gin. Yes. Well, a bit of gin too. Come on, it's the weekend. Can't be no gin, surely, but a little bit. I mix mine with, you know, those lovely health juices, the health shots from the Healthy Juice Company. Love them. I'm going to be getting a box and showing it to you on Monday. Those of you that haven't got that, that's also a really, really good thing to be doing at the moment. So the other thing that I did, so after I did my run, and bearing in mind I do this on a fasted state, so I think it's much better not to eat first thing, to try and do that intermittent fasting. So I try and push my first mouthful of the day as far down the line as I can. And I find that by doing my exercise first, doing a few chores, getting into stuff, you know, before I know it, it's kind of 11, 11:30, 12. And then, of course, I usually talk to you guys at 12:30. So my first mouthful is often not until kind of like 1:30, 2 o'clock. So lots of reasons why that works. If you haven't yet downloaded your free download to a happier, flatter tum, please do that this weekend. So many of you have. I think more than 10,000 or so have got that free copy already, which is great, but it's only free until the end of July. So if you haven't grabbed it, please after this go and grab it. And you can share it, share the link with your friends. It's completely free, no strings attached. It's just a lovely thing to share. So intermittent fasting is all part of that. We know that it helps our immune system. I do confess I have a cup of coffee. So this is it a vice? I don't know. We actually wrote about it for Liz Earle Wellbeing, and coffee has health benefits, real caffeine. I've actually got my lovely Polish pottery mug of coffee here, which I've been sipping this morning. The coffee that I like is this one. This is new ground coffee, and it's in a little recyclable bag. If you don't know about these guys, check them out, newgroundcoffee.com. You get 20% off with Liz Loves. These are the guys based in Oxfordshire. They have lots of delicious blends and they rehabilitate and train ex-offenders. So it's a real social justice programme. It's a really good community-based company. I think they're great. And it says here on the back of the pack, actually, it tells you a little bit about them. It says, thank you for supporting a social enterprise. You're helping to provide new ground for ex-offenders. Get that? New ground coffee. Anyway, this one I particularly like. If you look at them up, it's called Monte Carmelo. It's in that pale blue pack. And it says it tastes of hazelnut, raisins and milk chocolate. Well, there you go. I like it anyway, first thing in the morning. So I have had my cup of coffee, and there are various studies that show that if you exercise after a cup of coffee or having had a bit of a caffeine hit, you do work a bit harder. So you are going to get a bit more muscle growth and all of those things that are really so important, especially for midlife women. As we age, we need to retain our muscles, and we need to do that not only for strength, and we need to have our bone density strong, but also the more muscle we have, the more our metabolism works faster and harder, so we burn up fat more quickly. So it's really important as our metabolism slows as we age that we keep it going, with particularly the muscle building. So that's why I do more weights now. If you've not downloaded your e-guide, A Stronger, Slimmer You, please do that, because that is also, I wrote that with Michael Gary last year. It's the kind of stuff that I do. You'll also find my workouts on YouTube. So if you're home this weekend and fancy just kind of perusing the Liz Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel, really good to do that. You can subscribe to that. That's also free. It just means you get the updates when we put new videos. I've got makeup videos and stuff coming on YouTube. So much. Yes, lots of chat. I mustn't get too distracted by reading the chat. I shall have a look at that later. Always leave me messages and comments if you want later on. I don't do direct message. I'm sorry, that's just one of the things that I can't do. I've got so much. But I do try and get back to my comments. I know I'm a bit late. I know I got a bit behind actually earlier in the week with some of the comments. So I will go back over the weekend and see if I can get around some of the comments. So water, exercise. The next thing I did was I jumped in the shower. But before I jumped in the shower, I did some body brushing. Now this, again, I've written about. You'll find it on Liz Earle Wellbeing. This is dry skin body brushing. This is such an old little, it's not even, I don't know what it is. It's like a kind of bristly thing. I'd love to find another one. Does anybody know where I can get one of these from? Because I've had this for such a long time. And you just literally start at the bottom, the soles of your feet, and you work upwards. And the idea is that you're just dry brushing the body, always towards the lymphatics. So if you're going here towards, the lymph nodes under the arms, in the groin area, up here, it's a really, really good way to get the circulation going and to give your lymphatic system a boost. So particularly, in that link with the immune system, lymphatics, really important. So that's what I did. Then I jumped in my shower. Granola. I'm making my rose petal granola this weekend. Can't be without it. Absolutely love it too. So then I jumped in the shower, and I love the feeling of just everything washing off you. It's just such a great release, isn't it? Just to kind of just feel anything that's kind of sticking to you that you don't want to have in your life, just sort of washing down the drain. Always imagine that, always sort of visualise that when I'm in the shower. And with the showers, if you read my last piece of copy about aging well in Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine, last issue, it was talking about cold showers. So I gradually, as I stood in the shower, I just kept turning the dial down until I ended up freezing cold. And it's so bracing, and it's so good for your immune system. if you've got that copy of the magazine, do take another look at it. And I quote a guy called Wim Hof, who's also known as the Iceman. You can look him up online. Fascinating. He's the guy that literally breaks holes in the ice and jumps in. And it's everything from cold water swimming to, you know, if you can't go out and about and jump in a icy cold pool, you can turn the dial down on the shower. You know, easy. And it is easy. It's mind over matter. Your mind has to tell you that it doesn't matter that it's cold. And again, studies show that it can improve your lymphatics, your circulation, your immune system. So particularly if you get it on the back of your neck. So, you know, get the shower kind of working here for 30 seconds or so. And you can just gradually build it up. You know, just turn the dial down slowly and then build up the amount of time. And yeah, I mean, I hopped out of that shower, you know, like a little rabbit. I was so full of glee. Yeah, cold shower after washing your hair. Kate managed to source Cornish sardines and samphire yesterday and made the recipe you demonstrated. It was absolutely delicious. Lovely, healthy meal. Brilliant. That's so nice. Yeah, I love those sardines. Aren't they so great? So simple, so easy, so quick to cook. They cook in like 1 minute. You know, it's like an instant ready meal. So yeah, I'm delighted about that. I've got a few more things to share with you actually. So the other thing that I talked about yesterday was my chesty cough and the thyme. So what I did was I used my Neal's Yard Thyme Oil. Don't forget you can get your £10 free voucher, so you can buy this, you can get it free with the subscription to Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine. So I used a little bit of this balm. This is the skin balm from Isla. Really nice little British brand. Again, we've got a Liz Loves discount, so that's all in Linktree on Instagram, so you'll find it. And what I do here is I just use a little dot of the balm like that. I'm just doing it on the back of my hand so I can show you. And 1 drop of thyme. That's literally all it takes. And you can use this as a chest rub. You can use this as a muscle rub. Oh, so good. It really does smell good. Actually quite like the balm. I like putting it through my fingers and then just running it through the ends of my hair too, just to kind of take some of the frizz out. So lots of things that you can do with this lovely balm. Anyway, my mum, who I saw last night, she said to me, because she was watching, she said, oh, that thyme, that's really interesting. She said, because I use Bronco Stop. And this is a brand that I've heard of a long, long time ago. So I looked them up online. And sure enough, Bronco Stop is a brand of cough medicines and cough pastils and all that kind of thing for all different kinds of coughs. And when you look at the ingredients, it's thyme. Isn't that interesting? So thyme is time-honoured, time-tested, trusted, natural herbal remedy. And of course, if you look on my website, look on lizearlewellbeing.com, for ways to help support your immune system, and there's a whole section that I've written on that. Just type in, I think it's immune support. I've got my laptop here. Let me just check and see what do you do. If you put in immune system, what comes up? Yeah, Liz, there we go, search. Yeah, things that I do, how Liz supports her immune system. And you'll see, I won't show you here because it's a bit tricky to turn my laptop around, but you'll see that one of the things that I talk about is this. And you can see that I've been using that. This is, I think it's a German company called Salus, and it's thyme, and it's the fresh plant extract. You can either have it neat or you can put it in water, and it says may help support the respiratory system. And yeah, a lot of evidence on thyme, and yeah, worth having, I think, a bottle of that in the cupboard. I've got a link to it in the feature and you can read more about it if you want to. The other thing that I have in my article, I'm just flicking through it here, is vitamin C. So vitamin C, again, I've upped my amount of vitamin C. So this is the one that I like. It's a liposomal vitamin C. And in fact, if you get your healthy shop box, which I'll show you on Monday, you get these with it because I really like it. And I think it's a really good way of getting a boost. So these come in little sachets. And what you do, I'll show you because I haven't yet had mine, is you take out this kind of like orange jelly. And being in a liposome means that it is, or I can use some of my water from here, means that it is more easily absorbed, so it's more available to the body. And it also is kind of time released, so it sustains over the day. So you just kind of knock it back. Doesn't really taste it very much. Slightly orangey, but absolutely good. So I'm getting back on track with having that because I went through a phase of not having it. So my vitamin C, I've had my vitamin D with vitamin K, a couple more drops of that. Really good. Now I've got my thyme spread on me. Now this is what I make. Okay, so this is what we've been waiting for. Move everything out of the way. So when I do have something to eat, this is very often what I will have first thing. I will make a shake, a special shake, and I particularly do this during term time. So I guess I've kind of got out of the habit because the children haven't been around and they obviously haven't been going to school. But I find that this is a really good thing. I give this to my boys because I know that once they've had this, they're set up for the day. You know, they can go off and they can have their school meals and they can have, you know, whatever else is around. But I know that I've given them really good level of base level nutrition to keep them going. And my elder boy, you may have seen him, Kit, he started to make an appearance on my Instagram because he's just about to turn 18. So I don't like to show the little ones when they're younger, but when they're kind of adult and can make a choice, then they can be on the Instagram if they want to be. And he's very much into, you know, kind of fitness training and building his muscles and all of that. So he loves having a bit more protein. Whereas the little one, I just want him to be fit and healthy, and the same for myself. And so this is what I do. Now, I've got links in Linktree to these two particular products I'm going to show you. They are quite expensive. I've tried others that are cheaper. Don't really rate them. I would love to be able to do a deal. I'd love to be able to do a Liz Loves with these, but at the moment I've just found them online, so I've just put a link. Maybe we can, in the future, reach out to them and see if they will be willing to work with us, but let's see. So I mix them together and I put in lots of other things. And this is, again, it's not prescriptive. You can do whatever you like. This is something that you can just do one, you could do none, you could add in extra things. I just do it how I feel I want to get my nutrition. So the first one is this, it's called Garden of Life, and it's a protein powder, but it's a really good protein powder. It's not like one of these bulking ones, you know, when you go into health food shops and you see all these max muscle, you know, massive, great big tubs of things. This is, it's an organic protein with greens. You can get it without greens. There's a vanilla one, which I quite like. There's a plain one, and it contains so much stuff. It's organic spinach, kale, broccoli, alfalfa juice, lots of different types of protein. I mean, my goodness, if you read the ingredients, vitamin A, C, calcium, iron, vitamin K, folic acid, biotin, phosphorus, manganese, zinc, selenium, chromium, molybdenum. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, and it's jam-packed. Now, when you read the ingredients and the way that you do it on the tub, it says it just has 20 servings. Well, honestly, I don't use that much. I just use a bit. So it comes with a big kind of scoop like that. I mean, I don't use that. I use just a spoonful. So what I want is to get, if I'm doing it just for myself, actually, I'll probably only use maybe that much. I don't know if you've heard my podcast that I did with Professor Tim Spector, the gut health guru of King's University, and he's always talking about diversity and about how the best ways we can help our gut health and our microbiome is by having a diverse intake of food. So trying to eat, 20, 30 different things a day. But of course, if you're using things like this, it's so easy because you're getting little bits of lots of different things. So our gut microbes are hopefully, they are jumping up and down with joy when they see me doing this, because I can just imagine them all kind of giggling gleefully away, waiting for this to hit them, because they are really going to enjoy the wide variety of goodness that they're about to get. Now into that, you can just use that on its own if you want, but I add this one, and this is called Green Superfood, and it's made by a company called Amazing Grass. And it has in it, oh my goodness, why is this writing so weeny, wee? Just so much. Both of these, by the way, have no sugar. That's another reason I like them. 0 sugars. So I'm not a fan of sugar in any form. Refined carbs, sugars, no. Always check your labels for sugars. So this, I forget how many things it has in it. It's, oh gosh, okay, so here we go. Green superfood. Wheatgrass, spirulina, spinach, pineapple, barley grass, chlorella, beetroot, acai berry, alfalfa, broccoli, carrot, maca root, acerola, cherry, and more. We organically grow and harvest the most nutrient-rich greens on our family farm in Kansas and craft them with highest quality plant-based ingredients, honestly grown, thoughtfully harvested, simply enjoyed. Well, I think it's good. Now, I am always trying to give my boys more greens. You know, I don't know whether you have that battle, but I find that just a spoonful of this in a shake, they don't even know it's there. Even my little one. He's been having this probably since the age of about 7. And he just says, oh, great, I'll have my shake, and then I head off to school. You know, and I know that at least he's got a baseline then that he can then go and hopefully not eat too much rubbish. But at least, you know, you've ticked the boxes of a few things, haven't you? So I've got those there. Now, what I do is I use milk. As you know, I'm a big fan of grass-fed, properly produced whole milk. This is local milk from my neighbour, and I get it from the vending machine. You may have seen me do that. And again, if you want to find vending machine milk, go to lizearlewellbeing.com, just put milk, vending machine. We've got a whole list of places all around the UK that are doing vending machine milk in glass bottles. And of course, if you get your glass bottle, you can then turn it into a water bottle, can't you? Anyway, so I'm using whole milk. And then you can also add other things. So bearing in mind, my message with this really is more and more. So the more as you put into it, the more goodness you get. So I have got, guess the next ingredient that's going in. Nikki, you have a freezing 3-minute shower at the end of each shower. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Lots of nice chat. Yeah, so can you guess what else is going into my shake? Can celiac use these protein powders? Yes, this one is gluten-free. So, but always check with the manufacturer. Kefir, you've got it. Well done, Angela. Well done, Jackie. Ali, yeah, kefir. So this is my homemade kefir in a jug. So I'm going to add that. Just as much as you like. There's no real science. I'm also going to add some homemade yogurt, just because the strains of bacteria will be different, and I just think, you know, more is more. Let's just add a bit more of this into that. I'm also going to add, just for the heck of it, I've got some Cult Capsules. So these have got different strains of beneficial bacteria. So I'm just going to take a Cult capsule and I am going to add that. I feel like a kind of witch's brew here. Eye of newt and toe of frog. No, better than that. This is the Optibac Rhamnosus. This is the female blend for women. I've written about this in your e-guide to a happier, flatter tum. This is the one that I particularly like. I think it's excellent for things like pelvic health, urinary tract infections, cystitis. So this is a bit of extra Rhamnosus, which is just kind of for me, really. Then I also put in, not finished, I also put in a bit of turmeric. So a little spoonful of turmeric, very good, anti-inflammatory again. Lots of information on turmeric on Liz Earle Wellbeing if you want to have a look. And because turmeric needs a little bit of black pepper, curcumin to activate it, I'm doing a grind of black pepper. What else am I going to put in? Oh, I tell you what, I'm going to put in, I've got my sachets of Bimuno, which is the prebiotic fibre. So that can go in there as well. And then, you know, I will add all sorts of things. I went through a phase of adding hyaluronic acid. You can buy that in a liquid form to take for the skin. So I would just add a spoonful of that in. You know, it's entirely your own recipe. For my boys, when they're here, one of them really likes vanilla, so I'll add a few drops of vanilla extract. And to make it a bit sweeter and a bit more calorific, I'll also mix it up with a banana. I don't tend to add the banana for myself because the banana is quite high in sugars and I'm not so keen on that, but it's also got lots of potassium and it makes it a little bit more nutritious. So I think for children it's quite a good thing. Now I would normally do this in my blender, but I'm just going to do this with my hand mixer just to get it going, just to show you. But I'm going to put a towel over this because I have a feeling it might go everywhere because I'm not doing it in my regular. I wanted to do it in a glass jug so I could show you. There we you've got a NutriBullet or anything like that, you could use that, you know, hand whisk, you know, whatever you normally use in the kitchen. So there we go. So that is my my shake. And I mean, it would be really interesting, wouldn't it, to analyse just how amazingly powerfully good this is. Now, that's really nice. I can taste the kefir, which I like. Taste the turmeric, which I like as well. It's not too green, it's not too kind of spinachy. It's not at all sweet. If you want to make it sweeter, then you would add the banana. You can also add, which is what I do particularly for my boys, a spoonful of cocoa powder. Again, just get the dark chocolate cocoa powder, no sugar, and add that, and it turns it into a chocolate shake, but with no sugar. And of course, with the dark cocoa powder, you're getting your iron, you're getting your zinc, you're getting your magnesium, you know, you're getting lots of other minerals in your shake. Do I think this is better than good whole food? No, I don't. I hope you heard the beginning of my Instagram. Oh, it's the pepper, makes me cough. No, absolutely not. As I said at the very beginning, it's really important to eat good quality whole foods. But I do think that there are certain stresses, modern stresses. You know, when you look at the amount of cortisol stress that we're under, for example, it's massive. You know, the fight and flight mode is constant. And that's depleting all kinds of nutrition. And especially at the moment when we need to keep our immune system high, it's really important. And of course, we're living longer than ever. You know, the average age of women, you know, used to be, 60, 62. Now our average age is, 84? You know, we need to keep going. And we know that modern food processing is stripping nutrients out of the soil. We're using modern grains of wheat, you know, rather than the spelt and the kamut and the things that we used to eat, so that we're eating less nutritious food. So no, absolutely, this does not replace. But I think what this does, it's a really useful adjunct. And if I feel myself dipping and going down, then this is absolutely what I will turn to. And I see a result pretty much immediately in feeling better. So I hope that is really helpful. The other things that I find really useful are things like the herbal remedies that we know are so useful for immune support. So again, in my immune support feature, I've written about elderberry and I've written about thyme, which I talked about here, you know, the traditional thyme. And I've also written about things like ashwagandha, which is a really interesting Ayurvedic herb. The elderberry I think is particularly interesting. That makes something called sambucol, which I've given my children for a long, long time. Garlic, aged garlic particularly. So this is the Life Armour. This is the drops of immunity. So this is also what I've been using. This also has echinacea in it. So I think that's something, you know, historically I've taken echinacea and I've given my children echinacea during, really usually from the beginning of term in September, because that's the time, isn't it, traditionally when we go back to school and we get all the coughs and colds and the flu bugs that come in. So just trying to help support them really. So I've given that to them for a long time. So I've researched that and written about it for decades, literally. Add stuff in rather than take stuff out. It's really... ingredients are high to take with high blood pressure. Yeah, I mean, they're foods. But, you know, these are all foods that we're talking about, foods and herbs. We're not talking about medicines. But obviously, if you're concerned, do please talk to your GP. You know, these are not medicines that we're talking about. And I think always follow the directions, always read the instructions, don't take more than it says. And live life in balance, you know. And if you feel that you need a little bit more of something, be prepared to give yourself a little bit of a boost. Oh dear, more estrogel, estradose chat. I'm so sorry about that. It's a tough one. And I do hope that you have downloaded the fact sheet from menopausedoctor.co.uk. And that fact sheet was written by Dr. Zoe Hodson. And she has an Instagram account. It's called the Manchester Menopause Hive. Do please follow her. And you've just got to keep on persevering. I mean, it's an absolute shocker, and I kind of, you know, can't talk too much about that because it's just never ending, isn't it? But the good news is that we are here to spread knowledge, to share, to empower, to encourage, Lots of good stuff going on. I know my team aren't working today, but honestly, they've done such a great job behind the scenes. I don't know if you've been onto the Liz Earle Wellbeing website recently, but I was on it obviously this morning just checking stuff. And they've managed to redesign it. We've got so much more content. Up here, there's a whole section up here now called Liz Loves, because obviously we've been doing so much more of this. I'll stand out the way then you can see it. So if you click on Liz Loves up here, it brings up lots of different categories of all the things that I've been talking about. So for example, you've got Liz Loves supplements. So these are all the things I've talked about here. Liz Loves makeup, Liz Loves sleep. Yes, we do need lots of sleep. Liz Loves to wear, all sorts of different things. So if you go to supplements, for example, you'll just see some of the things that I've been talking about here. So do have a little look around. There's lots of new podcasts that are up there as well, lots of information. And one of the other things that, of course, is really important, and I've been talking about this as we go out and about to help us stay well, is looking at wearing masks. Lots of you have asked me where my mask came from. I was talking about the one from Holistic Silk. And I went online again just to check, having talked about it, just to check they've still got it in stock. Because obviously if I start talking about stuff, very often it goes out of stock. Holistic Silk, lovely British female founder-led brand. They've been doing things well for a long time. I really like them. They've given us 15% discount with Liz Loves. So thank you for that. We do love that. And when I looked on their website, I saw that not only do they have the plain silk masks, which was like the one I was wearing in Italy, but they have some printed ones. And so I ordered this one and it arrived this morning. So I just want to share it with you. Look at this. This is so pretty. There you go. Isn't that lovely? So if you've got to wear a mask, you may as well wear one with style. And what I like about these is they've got little pockets sewn inside. They're beautifully made. They're really nicely fashioned. I don't know if you can see, but they fit really well under the chin, and they've got little covered elastic straps. So I wore mine on the plane. I had it on for going through the airport, all the way through the airport, all the way on the plane, all the way through the other side. So I probably had mine on for about 4 or 5 hours continuously, and it was just like nothing was on my face. It was really comfortable. And then it comes with little charcoal filters that you put inside that little pouch, and you can get replacement filters rather, from them, or just buy them online. They're quite easy to get hold of. So yeah, really nice, I thought. And it actually matches my top, doesn't it? Yeah, Lavender Hill, which you also get Liz Loves, by the way. I think we get 10% if you put Liz Loves into Lavender Hill clothing. They also have very good masks, Lavender Hill clothing, really lovely cotton ones, slightly different design, slightly different shape, but again, really comfortable, handmade in the UK. And when you buy a pack of their cotton masks, they will donate another pack to a family in need, which is a lovely, lovely thing to do. They're a really nice company. So again, really happy to give you guys a shout out. So don't forget, if you want to get your voucher, talking about free things very quickly, if you want to get your Neil's Yard voucher, which is free, £10, you get that with the subscription to Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine. That's the current one. And you get a free issue, so you pay for 5 issues, but you actually get sent 6, and you get free P&P, so lots of free things there. That's my yoga. It was to remind me to do that later on today. You can also download the free guide to the Happier, Flatter Tum. That's completely free. If you want a whole month of free magazines to read, then click the link in my link tree. Go on to Readly, or you can do it on the Liz Earle Wellbeing website. There's also a link on there to Readly. And you just click where it says, I think, buy digital magazine, and it just takes you through. It's normally $7.99 a month, but if you use that link, you get it free for a month, and then you can cancel if you don't like it. So you just get your month's worth of magazines free. So you get not only Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine, but you get all our back issues, and you get about 10,000 other magazines free. All sorts. And it's been lovely actually hearing you say the ones that you like. You've been looking at special, vegetarian magazines for recipes. You've been looking at crochet magazines for patterns. You've been sharing the subscription with your family, and looking at car, motor mechanic, golfing, riding, you name it, all those specialist magazines. So really good. If you haven't discovered Readly yet, I really do like them, and I'm really happy that my magazine is on there. as a free thing for you to try for a month. That is it. I am going to be cooking up some more things from my yearbook too. So I thought I would do, actually one of the things, just before I go, if you scroll down on Linktree, keep going because there's so many stuff, so many good things now. Just scroll. I was doing that this morning to check to see what was on there, and I saw that my team had put on this great recipe for this puffed cauliflower with a kimchi dressing. So I thought that looks really good. I've got a cauliflower in the fridge, so I'm going to try that later. So I might put that on my stories. But I also found in yearbook 2, this is a roast cauliflower and halloumi dish, which I'm going to make later on as well. So this is roast cauliflower with peas, halloumi and a wild garlic pesto. So if you made wild garlic pesto earlier in the year, this would be good. If you haven't got any wild garlic pesto, you could just use regular pesto. That would be absolutely fine. Or you could just leave the pesto out altogether. Oh, this was the grilled sardines. That was the recipe that I did yesterday. That's from yearbook 2. And also just a couple of things to inspire. Talking about drinking water earlier. These are all the lovely different ideas for making flavoured waters. So if you don't fancy just drinking lots of plain water, there's lots of ideas for how to flavour it. Thank you for all your pictures, by the way. I've seen lots of you tagging me. This was a dish that I did last week from my book, and this is the pasta with seaweed, peas, broccoli and toasted almonds. That's an absolute winner. I think I cooked that one here on Monday. And then this is something that I thought I might try later. I have got a fig tree in my greenhouse. It's beyond. It's one of my pride and joys, my fig tree. And it is, of course, fig season. So I am going to make this, hopefully, fig and bay tart. How delicious does that look? Oh, fig and bay tart. And interestingly, it has fennel in it. Yeah, subtle hints of fennel, bay and aniseed mixed with the sweetness of figs. This is a deliciously different dessert and makes a very pretty plateful. So yeah, I think I might give that a go. Anyway, I hope that you have a lovely weekend. It's been really nice just to have a calm chat. I'm just sorry I got distracted then looking at all the chat. I love that. You tried the broccoli recipe. It was lovely. Good. Love figs. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you want the book, I have got yearbook 2 here, which I sign and send out. Missing being in Greece and being able to pick figs from the roadside. Where can you buy a fig tree? I wonder. That's something for me to research, isn't it? I shall find out where and when. I think usually it's the autumn that's good for planting trees, isn't it? Usually they say kind of November time, so I shall have a look at that. Thank you so much. It's lovely to be with you. It really is. Thanks for all your good wishes. It's really lovely to share all these good things. Such a lovely community. I so appreciate you all. It's thank you, Nikki. You too. Thank you. Thanks, Angela. So glad you like the books too. Thank you. And the podcast. Yeah, so many episodes on that. So if you've got a wet weekend like we have down here in the West Country, hopefully I've got some great stuff to keep you going. Anyway, I shall see you Monday. Monday, sadly, Kerry September can't be with us because she's doing loads of building work down in Margate where she's living, and she's got builders and tradesmen and all sorts. And she's managed to get them all in on Monday. And she said, I can't possibly tell them I can't do it. Otherwise they'll go away and they'll take another, 3 months to get back. So she's going to come hopefully the following Monday. But I have got some great makeup. So I am going to be doing makeup Monday, and then Josh Wood for hair on Wednesday, and then something really fabulous and special and new that I'm going to launch on Friday. So I shall see you then, sending you lots of love. Thank you for being with me. Bye.